A lot of people are interested in a solar project, and some people are considering doing it themselves, a DIY project. I want to talk a little bit about what that looks like, the pros and the cons, and also cost breakdown, what you would get out of it, and potentially what your liabilities would be. First, thinking about pricing of a system. People are very often interested in how much does solar cost, and how does this broken out and itemized by different material. The price of solar is somewhat complicated. It can vary a lot based on system size and materials and even geopolitical economic conditions at the time. But roughly speaking, today, a residential system is somewhere between $2 per watt and $3 per watt. Sometimes with commercial, it's even a little bit less than $2 a watt, depending on system scale. Sometimes if it's a really small system, it can be even more than $3 a watt. But that's generally the price range that you're looking at today. That's comprised of a couple different things. Material, obviously, is the primary, the labor, and obviously any installer's profit margin. Panels really fluctuate in cost. Approximately, panels are going to be between 30 cents a watt and 70 cents a watt currently in 2026. This really varies based on manufacturer, model type, import taxes and tariffs that we're experiencing, where the manufacturer is located. Those kinds of things really come into play when we're talking about panel pricing today in a very dynamic solar market. The other major component is the inverter, which again varies significantly depending on type of inverter, but we're usually looking at 40 to 60 cents per watt on the inverter. The other significant material cost is the mounting, the rail system, and all of their electrical connections, including combiner, communications portal, and disconnect, all electrical equipment. This approximately runs between 30 to 40 cents per watt for the system. Another significant cost is the permitting, engineering, and inspection costs. This again varies by system size, but you might bundle all those together for a common boilerplate residential system at around $2,000 per job. So when you add all those things together, you're approximately getting to around $1.50 per watt. And then you have, of course, labor costs and then an installer's profit margin, obviously. So if you are thinking about doing this project yourself, where you're able to save money is on the labor cost and on the profit margin that the installer is realizing as well. You may be able to get a system installed if you're doing it all entirely yourself for as low as maybe a 25%, 30% discount on the installer's cost, below $2 per watt. So you could potentially realize significant savings on a system if you are able to do it entirely yourself, maybe 25 to 30% relative to an installer's cost. The question is, what will you have to do to be able to realize that benefit? When an installer comes in, we're a very well-oiled machine. We have an engineering process, permitting application process. We have two permits, an interconnection permit with the utility, municipal work permit with the township. We have a third-party engineer for both structural and electrical to provide that permit set. All those things, if you're not familiar with it, can take a lot of time and resources, and probably more time and resources than it would allow for an installer to do. Obviously, the labor is significant. Maybe you're a very handy person. The roof work is something that's well within your wheelhouse in terms of mounting, the railing, the mounts, and the inverters and panels. But the electrical is sophisticated. You're making an interconnection to your residential electrical service. So you want that done right. And if you have experience doing that, great. If not, you really want to make sure that you have a professional electrician making an interconnection and a disconnect to your system. If for no other reason, then it won't pass inspection if it's not done properly, but you obviously don't want to interfere with the proper electrical service at your house. A lot of people don't realize that when we install solar, there's a lot of back-end office work that is done well before our crew arrives on site and even after their crew arrives on site. From engineering, permitting, inspection coordination with township, and then on the other end, we register the system for solar renewable energy credits, or SRECs. We handle the permission to operate with the utility and everything on the back end as well. So it really is a process that is well-oiled and best done by a professional installer. If you're somebody who is very excited about DIY projects, it certainly can be done, but you have to know that you're going through a sophisticated electrical interconnection, and you want to make sure that this is a system that you have a high degree of confidence in passing inspection, and also it's probably going to take you a lot more time to do it than a crew would and the labor costs associated. But if all those things sound great to you, of course, you're going to realize some savings in doing the project yourself relative to a professional installer.